If you like this video, click on that subscribe button and be notified of more great ideas. I've removed my 3-jaw chuck from this lathe because I would like to use it over here on the mill on my rotary table. Now I have a small chuck, you can see it there in the background, that will go on here, but it's not big enough to do a lot of the things that I'd like to do. So we'll take a look at what I did to the 3-jaw chuck. I've removed the screws that went through this cap into here and took the back off the chuck. This was originally like so. And the part that I'm interested in is the size of this circle here. This is about 1/8 higher than the rest of the surfaces here. So I want to reproduce this surface on a larger back plate, if you would. I've taken a piece of 1/2-inch thick metal. I'd have liked to have gone perhaps 5/8 thick, but I didn't have the material on hand, so I went with the 1/2-inch metal. And I took that and I mounted it on this plate, the plate for the lathe. And the way that I did that, where these slots are now, I just drilled a couple of holes for 1/4 20 screws, and then I put this on here and put the screws in from back of here and tighten it up. This allowed me to machine this all down and to get this the correct size that I needed so it fits in the back of here. Now that part is done right now, and this part of the chuck fits on there and drops in nicely, and the fit was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have a 3 to 4-inch mic, so I just had to use a digital caliper, and when we got close, a thou at a time until it looked like it was going to fit. We kept trying this on there, and we got a nice fit out of that. Now the next thing I need to do is put these holes there for the screws that hold it to the chuck. I got to put those holes in here. So we have to figure out what the bolt hole circle is here, and I'll show you how I did that. In order to calculate that bolt hole circle, what we did is, first of all, we measured from this bolt to that bolt, and we took note of that dimension. Then we checked the diameter across the threaded portion, and we noted that. And once we had that information, I'll show you the sheet that I worked that out on. Okay, here's our dimension across the 2 bolts. We got that for a value. And the size of the bolt across the threads was 309. We took that value. Then we took this value here and subtracted the size that we took across the bolt holes, and we got this value here. Now that value is actually the length of this side, and since we have an equilateral situation here, every side is 3.681. So once we got our 3.681 side, what we needed to do from there is take that value and divide it by the sine of 60. The sine of 60 is the angle at each corner here. Adds up to 180, 3 times 60, right? That's a triangle, full triangle. So once we have that value right here, we know the diameter of the bolt hole circle. Once you know the diameter, you just divide it by 2, and here's our final result right here. That's the radius from the center point out to each hole. And of course there's 120 degrees between each hole, so that's how we figured out how to do this on the rotary table. Now I've already put the holes in this, but this is how I did it. I mounted my rotary table up here. I put an indicator in the chuck, and I found the center right here. Now what this is a number 2 taper that I turned on the lathe, and I put a 1/4 inch dowel into it. Made sure that it was running true, indicated that to make sure it was good. And like I say, we put the indicator in here then and got centered. Once we had the chuck on center here, I needed to move it over our calculated radius, which we just went through. And then this I put on here upside down like this, and I put some spacers in here so that my drill didn't go through and hit the table. And we were able to take this hole that I put in the middle of this while I was manufacturing this whole piece here and set it on here like so. Now we're centered. I was able to use these to clamp everything down, and I proceeded to put the holes in every 120 degrees on my calculated bolt circle. So here's the finished results. We've got our back plate, we've got our mounting slots here, and everything is screwed together like so.